Hey everyone, Tankenstein here. During the holiday season, we all wish for very similar things, typically gifts, but also goodwill towards men and peace on earth. You know the deal. Anyways, in this video, I've gathered quite possibly the largest and greatest collaboration in War Thunder YouTube history. And when I say I don't mean that I was the one that did all of this. All of the wonderful content creators who participated, including in no particular order, Oddbawz, Ash, JustinPlays, Sako Sniper, TheScottishKoala, ZoltanSultan, TheEuropeanCanadian, and the winner from my collaboration contest, OldDeadMan, have all been equal parts helpful in the creation of this video. That said, going back to what this video is all about, recently, whether it's in War Thunder or in real life, there's been a ton of negativity amongst people, and I thought that it would be a fun idea and one in keeping with the spirit of the season to have some of the biggest War Thunder YouTubers each submit in their own words and audio 5 things that they want to see implemented in War Thunder in the form of a Christmas wish list. I chose these YouTubers not only because I like them and because they're good people, but also because they have interesting perspectives and they are on full display in this video. Literally every single person featured in this video has several ideas that I have either never heard before or have totally new takes on ideas that I've never even considered. So honestly, I think it's worth listening to all of them. Hopefully Gaijin implements numerous ideas put forth in this video because they would go a long way towards making War Thunder a better game. Without further ado though, I genuinely hope you all enjoy this video. Take it away, Ash.
G'day, I'm Ash. There's a lot that I want for War Thunder, but for Christmas I'd specifically want 5 things. The first thing on that list is generally regarded as battle ratings, and an increase in those. I'd like to see a 15.0 battle rating expansion and a subsequent rebalance of every single vehicle in the game. It's unlikely to happen, but it's wishful thinking. Second thing I'd love to see is the 25-pounder Sentinel, a vehicle that might be practically useless, but who wouldn't want a dual-firing howitzer machine? Now, putting my bias aside for Australian nations, as much as I'd love to have an Australian tech tree in the game, certainly number 3 would have to be an expansion of the minor tech trees. I'd like to see Turkey, Greece, Denmark, Norway, all represented in the major trees that we already have, and maybe even Finland as a bit of a major focus rather than what we have currently with Israel. I, for one, would really like to run around in a BT-42, for example. And there's so many unique vehicles from South America that could be integrated into the tech trees as is. Let's not mention Hungary or Yugoslavia. Lots of things to think about there, so that's my number 3. For number 4, I'd really love to see more World War II aircraft of any nation specifically. And there are plenty of candidates for that. I'd love to see various modifications to other aircraft already existing, but War Thunder really needs to focus on the way it addresses game modes. So for number 4, I'd like to see return to during confrontation in some form of event, at least allow us to express our opinion based on the stale team deathmatch nature that War Thunder can be. And number 5, it's going to be quite simple. That I wish that you guys have a very happy and festive season, and that next year is filled with less Gaijin Entertainment controversies. Maybe even a Ash or Tankenstein decal. Hey, thanks for having me, Tankenstein. I really appreciate it.
Alright lads, so Tankenstein's asked for 5 things to change about War Thunder. First of all, I'd rework realistic air battles, change to be more like the Battle of Stalingrad, the popular flight sim game. In that game, the maps are very dynamic, and you have lots of dynamic objectives, such as enemy airfields, warehouses, and even moving trains. This will be pretty easy to implement into War Thunder at the minute. They already have the maps. All they'd have to do was to implement the new objectives. An unmarked moving train which players would have to find would be a pretty good addition, or even an enemy battle fleet. You could have an enemy carrier as well as escorts, and sinking these things would bleed a few tickets. After all, the Russians do have a lot of anti-ship missiles in the game, and with War Thunder strongly moving into the Cold War era, it would be a realistic and historical gameplay. Next up, the same way we've reworked the air realistic battles, I'd also rework the helicopter battles. Right now you can either take helicopters into ground realistic, or into helicopter enduring confrontation. Now, there's no type of matchmaking in helicopter enduring confrontation, so MI4s go up against KA-52s every day, and it's basically just a club fest. Whoever has the strongest helicopter, basically the Soviets, just constantly club. This is a simple fix, just add matchmaking. Or create 2 different servers, one for low tier helis and one for high tier helis. The next thing I'd change would be to bring back some of the older premiums. For example, planes like the PO2, TB3. These are fun historical planes which aren't really broken. While you can get the PO2 by completing the Halloween event, only a few people get this. While these vehicles don't really give anything to break the game, they're not really effective at grinding or making money, they're just fun event unique vehicles which newer players just can't get anymore. The fourth big thing I want to see in War Thunder is the addition of the French Navy. Now, as a proud Englishman, that may very well be treason, but France definitely does need its navy added to the game. While the French aren't really too famous in World War II for actually doing anything, other than being destroyed by the British at Mers El Kabir, the French battleship, battlecruiser, destroyer, and heavy cruiser designs were unique and powerful, with the Algerie probably being the best 10,000 ton heavy cruiser ever made. And finally lads, my fifth thing that I want to see in War Thunder, you all know this, HMS Warspite. I don't need an explanation for this. The best looking ship ever produced, and there's a lot of controversy at the minute about the crimes of the British Empire. I'm here today to tell you, the only crime of the British Empire was scrapping HMS Warspite. Thanks again to Tankenstein, and I'll see you all on the battlefield.
Hello, my name's Oddbawz, and I've been asked to list 5 things I'd like to see in War Thunder for Christmas. First on that list is more fun and less frustration. I know most content creators are going to say stuff like decompress BRs or have the ability to ban more maps, etc. But I think a lot of the game has become a little bit too serious due to realistic game mechanics, such as volumetric and sound changes, which have really made the game difficult for newer players, but a little bit easier for more experienced players. Number 2 on this list is a vehicle, the Churchill AVRE, because who would be sad driving around a Churchill with a 290mm cannon with only 100 meters of range? Not me, that's for sure. Please give Gaijin the dustbin launcher. Number 3 is going to be a bit of an unusual one. Bigger squads, 5 or maybe even a 6-man squad. I don't understand this obsession with games assuming everyone only has 3 friends, even though most of us don't have any. And number 4 is going to be community-based events. Maybe like the Normandy event again, where it was Allies versus Germany with prefixed loadouts that everyone could take out. That was really fun. I'd like to see those come back, at least on a weekly basis. Come on, Gaijin. Be historical. Also, some other games do this thing where everyone has to get like 1,000,000 kills between each other, and everyone who contributed gets like a fancy skin or a decoration or something. That'd be pretty sweet too. And lastly, and more importantly, I'd like everyone to have a wonderful Christmas. For those who are alone, I'd like to get a bunch of War Thunder creators to live stream on Twitch through Christmas Day to keep them company. It can be a really lonely time for some, so maybe we can all share some time with those who are less fortunate. Anyway, I've been Oddbawz. Thank you very much for listening. Much love, and bye-bye.
Hi lads, Koala here. So, Tankenstein's asked me what I'd put on a Christmas wish list for War Thunder, though by this point it's sort of a New Year's resolutions. I'm not sure what order I am on the list here in this video, but I know other people have already brought up all the stuff we tend to talk about on our channel, BR decompression and RB enduring confrontations and such. So instead what I'm going to do is build on that and list a bunch of things I would want if RBEC were to become a thing. Now firstly is bombers. Given the way I tend to talk about RRB and bombers in it currently, a lot of people might think that I just hate bombers, but I don't. In fact, in RBEC, I'd actually love to see some more, like the B-23 Dragon, or the Tu-16 Badger, Avro Vulcan, Mirage 4, or Tu-22 Backfire. Secondly, I would love to see something more done with the carriers. The aircraft carriers that were added back in New Power are still looking pretty sad. There's no static aircraft on them like there were on the dev blogs. The Forstall doesn't even have any AA. Hell, the catapults don't even launch you properly. Next up would be, I don't really know what to call these, sort of dynamic supporting assets for EC. Things like AI AWACS or aerial refueling aircraft, maybe groups of ground vehicles that, if they don't get bombed in time, will set up SAM sites that you then need anti-radiation missiles for. And even convoys of ships or even submarines. Now, I want to talk about EC for tanks, which I think there are a lot of benefits to. I could talk about this kind of topic for ages. And EC for tanks could have a lot of the same stuff from Air EC, so convoys of trucks, AA or artillery batteries, and anti-tank guns or ATGM positions in buildings. It'd be a lot easier to justify larger maps for top tier tanks if there's actually something to do on them instead of just driving across them. And this kind of reminds me of all the best bits from Armoured Warfare. Lastly is SAMs. Now I've talked loads about later aircraft and missiles, but I don't think I've ever actually talked about more SAMs, which is weird as I actually really enjoy playing them. On the list would be more IR guided SAMs like the Avenger or Strela, the tracked Rapier system for Britain, the Tor M1 for Russia and China, and even the Russian Pantsir S2 I think would be incredibly fun to see in game. Then there's things like the American Hawk or the Japanese Chusam, which require multiple vehicles, with 1 or 2 carrier and launcher vehicles connected through a separate radar vehicle, and sometimes you need generator vehicles too, and then a 5th command vehicle to tie them all together. But since that's probably worth a whole video just of its own,
you'll have to just come over to my channel, won't you? Anyway, that's about it for my list today. Thank you for having me, Tankenstein, and I look forward to seeing what you guys think about this.
What do I want added to War Thunder? I want the Yugoslav-built 122mm cannon mounted on a Sherman, an IS-2 cannon on a Sherman. Who doesn't want that in the game? Also, for some reason, they put an M18 turret on a T-55. Can we have that in the game? That sounds brilliant. And the Yestovik is lovely, but I'd rather have a skink if that's okay. While you're at it, could you lot fix the fact that the real-time green screen doesn't work as a game filter? It used to work, and then the developers decided to disable it, which is a bit annoying. Why are we not allowed to set nukes off in custom battles using user missions anymore? You could do it on the release of nukes. Now you can't. If you want to use a nuke on a specific map with a specific weather condition at a specific time of day, well, that's not happening, is it? It'd be nice if squadron battles got some better rewards. Can we have some updated tutorials specifically for air-to-air missiles? Helipad AA? Why is that a thing? Doesn't really do a good job of protecting helicopters and makes you play yellow even if you're over the middle of the battle. Could we put Nigel back in the game? High-res Nigel when? Gaijin please fix. It'd be nice if we could have some more map bans, maybe 3? Oh, and can we have that purchase all modifications button that BVVD had on the dev server that one time, because playing on the dev server and unlocking all the modules is really annoying. Could you also add an option for auto-accepting anyone who applies to your in-game squad? Not the big squadron, the 4, 8 or 10-man squads, because organising 8 people in a squad is kind of tedious sometimes. Could we get some graphics presets that we can customise? Like, we have low, medium, movie, but it'd be good if we could have custom 1, custom 2, so you can have a preset for making cinematics and then a preset for just playing the game, because when I crank the graphics up on SSAA, my computer makes some funny noises. Now, if you're enjoying this video so far, why don't you press the subscribe button? Because only a tiny percentage of viewers are subscribed to the Tankenstein YouTube channel.
Hello, I am OldDeadMan. Thank you for having me today. 5 things I'd love to see in War Thunder for Christmas. Number 1, spread out the ground targets in RRB again. Used to be that you had a central area where the ground targets were, but there were still many scattered around the map so that you could gain experience and research points without having to be right underneath the active furball. Number 2, I would love to be able to clean up my lineups by removing qualifications from certain crews or moving them to different crews. So that way I can have everything neatly orderly now that I know how to play the game. Number 3, reduce the grind. I would love to be able to get to top tier in multiple nations without having to invest my entire life into the game. So please reduce the amount of grind it takes to get to top level so that we can enjoy all the tanks and planes and ships throughout the game. Number 4, open up the Sim Matchmaker. I would love to be able to play an air sim without having to be in that restricted level of vehicles that Gaijin puts on their official matchmaker. The user-generated ones just aren't very balanced most of the time, so this would really be helpful to me to be able to play the planes I want to play. And number 5, less trolling and more charity towards our fellow players when they make mistakes. The biggest thing that you could do for me in War Thunder is to reduce the number of people who are just trolling or angry all the time. Have charity to your fellow players. Know that they're going to make mistakes. They're not always going to be there to back you up, but sometimes they will, and in those times, be happy. Thank you to Tankenstein for inviting me to join in this really special occasion, and I hope you all have a great rest of the day. We'll see you in War Thunder.
Hi, I'm the European Canadian, and these are some of the things I'd like to see in the future. The first one is a prestige system for the game, so something which level 100s can do after they reach level 100. Maybe it resets you back to level 1, you get a nice border around your profile, and then you restart again, getting some nice little achievements along the way until you get to level 100, and then so on and so forth. Kind of like a system you've got in Call of Duty, or something like Payday, which was pretty popular back in the day. Also more hangar customization. After having a look at the hangar customization of the winter event, the fact that you have animated characters now, or animated things around the hangar that you can click on. It'd be nice to get some more clickable stuff. Maybe you can change some of the buildings that are around. Maybe you can change some of the banners, the tents, the towers, all of that stuff would be nice to see. personal avatars. So you could have a pilot, a commander of a tank, and also a admiral or something like that. You get to dress them up in different clothes and things. At the end of the battle, if you do well, it shows that specific person, and kind of like have an award screen. So maybe you got the most kills, so it would show your avatar. Maybe you got the most score, maybe show your avatar, stuff like that, just to kind of give a bit of personal flair to the game in general. A place in the hangar for achievements that you've done over your War Thunder lifetime, so stuff such as posters from past events. So maybe you completed, I don't know, Operation Winter 2021, maybe in the hangar somewhere there could be something which makes it, you know, remember that you did that event in the form of a poster or just a little trinket somewhere, which would be nice. And also a test drive which goes straight from the hangar into it itself. So zooms into the vehicle and bang, you're there. That would be lovely as well.
Alright, Tankenstein, let's do this. So 5 things that I want in War Thunder. Alright, well, number 1 has to be the T-84 op lot, just because why not? It's basically a better T-80, right? It's not as good as the BVM, but it's the tankiest tank that I can appreciate. So the second one is more community-based events from Gaijin. That's probably the biggest thing I'm looking forward to in the future, where just do fun things. You know, Gaijin, that's all you have to do is bring in random events, bring in some old April Fool's event, give us like a week-long thing, and just let us have fun with it, just because you guys did it with the, what was it, the modern vehicle stuff, and then, of course, you know, Pony Thunder, and then Potato Launcher Thunder, Modern Thunder, yeah, all that cool stuff, right? More of those would be nice. The next one is extended dev servers. I mean, come on, we need more than 2 days, more than a day or two. We need week-long testing dev servers just so we can get things fixed up a little bit. And it's as a creator, we don't have to take too long to get footage for this kind of stuff. And the next one is the large combined warfare. So it's basically introduce not only ground forces and air asset, but bring in naval as well in its own playlist. Just like a sim setup where you can have all your naval stuff, they can do their own thing, ground forces can do their thing, and then it can just kind of affect each other in a really large environment, more or less. Kind of like an RTS thing, but in first person, of course. And the last thing being is better rewards for the daily login. I've been not logging in for nearly 5 years now, and I still get the same 10%, 30% booster, or maybe like 100% booster. And it's like, come on, after so long, you've got to give us something very good. And in the same category, to those who made it to the 5-year mark, give us a permanent booster, like a 10 or 20% permanent booster, whether or not you have any sort of premium time or premium vehicles. Just give us a permanent booster. That's all I ask for, and those are the 5 things I'd love to see in War Thunder. So Tankenstein, take it away, buddy.
Thanks, Justin. Now, last and most definitely least, here are 5 things on my Christmas wish list for War Thunder. First, stop or at least slow the endless cavalcade of more modern vehicles coming to War Thunder. Some people, myself included, would love to see older vehicles coming to game, especially World War II vehicles like the Skink SPAA, Panzer II Lukes, or my favorite, the ME262 HG1 or HG2. I've got a history video on the HG series linked in the description below. To this point, give us events that will allow us to earn these vehicles, as events nowadays give one low BR/typically early World War II reward and then one really high BR reward. Maybe give us a World War II Chronicles so that we can get something in between, like maybe 4, 5, 6, or even 7.0 BR. Either way, Gaijin, give us the HG1. Seriously, I am begging you, let this be a message to you. Second, a revamped rewards system. I know this has been kind of mentioned before, but this is a little bit different than what other people have been mentioning. Now, while we get the same old rewards day in and day out from logging in, why not also give rewards for, let's say, every 100 wins, or maybe even for every 500 matches played, or to incentivize staying in a match where Gaijin can track how often you play in a match until you cannot play it anymore, let's say due to lack of spawn points or vehicles, with possibly a free loot crate with a free loot crate key at the end of 100 such matches that result in a win. That way, people without access to the marketplace can also enjoy its rewards. It would also incentivize people to stay in matches, plus it would promote good match behavior and make them more competitive. Third, more replay options. I, along with many people, content creators or otherwise, otherwise, use the replay feature quite often. This is one of the features of War Thunder that has not changed in years. In this way, I think it would be great to be able to rewind in replay without having to restart the replay, to be able to add filters such as one that would make it look like it was shot during World War II, and also to make it so that you could perhaps have a top 3 clips that are immediately accessible when someone looks at your profile in game. That way we can all be content creators and show off our funniest moments in War Thunder. Fourth, a game mode for ranked matches. Yes, I know this could lead to an influx of negative behavior, but from what I could tell, other games such as Halo, World of Tanks, and really most other MMO games have some sort of ranked system. Why not have that for War Thunder? And for that matter, maybe have mini tournaments. For example, you could have different types of ranked matches, including one where you're in a random group, one where it's 2 pre-made squads on one team facing off against another 2 pre-made squads, and other permeations, and much like how Battle Pass has seasons, you could have ranked seasons with special rewards. Get on it, Gaijin. And finally, I just wish Gaijin was a little bit more transparent about their future plans for War Thunder, as well as for the reasoning that they provide before making a controversial change in-game or an update. This, and as others have said, I wish everyone here the best, and for everyone to have a Merry Christmas, Happy Festivus, and a joyous holiday season. Good luck to everyone, both in War Thunder and in real life. And thank you everyone who has either watched my channel, this video, for everyone who has participated in making this the most special video that I've ever created. It means more to me than you might ever know. So thank you all. That said, I've placed each one of the amazing contributors for this video, all their YouTube links in the description and pinned comment below in a random order. Go check out their channels and subscribe to them. They seriously deserve it. And OldDeadMan, I hope this was a good collaboration. But as always, thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you all on the other side. Stay safe, stay healthy, and have a great year's end. Take care, everyone.